MTR Network. It is the fall season, and we are here with one of the first shows and our first time podcasting this show on the free feed, and that is Doctor Who. For those of you who are premium listeners, you heard us recap all the different, not the different seasons, but just the different Doctors, what we liked, what we didn't like. The first 3 seasons of Torchwood, because I'm over hate watching anything and I refuse to do it. And don't judge me, those of you out there, because I'm still watching Supernatural and started season 11. It's okay. I mean, it's not Walking Dead bad. I mean, they know they're all over the place and they joke on themselves, which makes it entertaining. I might actually just do a write-up about that, or maybe even a mini podcast with call-in listeners. We'll see. I am here with Parrish. Say hello.
I was just looking forward to a drunk podcast for the 4th season of Torchwood, but it's okay.
No,
it's
I
okay.
refuse. I'm like, not even liquor can make me enjoy that, and I refuse. I'm not going to sit. I got enough stress in my life, and I don't need that kind of damage to my health. So say hello, Parrish.
Right at the end of the day, you might be right. Hi, how you doing, everybody?
So we're going to talk about the woman who fell to earth and pissed off the fanboys. That is the title of this week's episode, or what I'm titling it anyway, because I saw them lose their minds and I got my life. What were your thoughts?
Jodie Whittaker is cute as a button. Like, I love her. I do. I absolutely love her. She is the Doctor. I'm here for it. This was more fun, I think, than any transition episode I've ever watched.
Oh, I agree. And I love 12, but it was even more fun than his.
Yeah. It was really, really fun. And if this is the tone they're striking with the show, I'm here for it.
I mean, because it opens up with, it doesn't even open up where we left off, which is her regenerating, which is what a lot of the other transition episodes do. But it opens from the perspective of Ryan, who's a 19-year-old who's destined to be one of her companions, who's talking about the greatest woman he's ever met. And of course, in a bait and switch, you think he's talking about the Doctor, but we find out later he's actually talking about his Nan Grace, who is amazing. I loved her so much, especially her hair, but I loved her character. And apparently Graham, who is another companion, is his step-grandfather, who Grace met when she was his chemo nurse. And they've been married 3 years, and Ryan has dyspraxia, which is kind of a coordination disorder. And it's why he's never learned to ride a bike. And his grandmother and step-granddad are trying to teach him to ride a bike, and he's trying to get it. So it opened with Ryan, and then next we transition to Yasmin Khan, who is Indian. So the fact that it opened with two people from the perspective of two people of color, I was already in. We don't see the Doctor until maybe 10, 15 minutes into the episode, when she falls through the roof of the train that Nan and Graham are on.
Yeah. And I mean, it gives you the impression that they, one of the things I like about Marvel is that they may not say that they're listening to us on social media, but clearly they are, crawling social media and hearing, what we think about the shows. And I get the impression from this season of Doctor Who, like you said, from the way that they started off the show centering people of color, I want to believe that somebody was listening.
They're walking into it despite all the protestations and bullshit. Especially because, did you see that article, slight tangent, that came out where they did the research and all the online furor about The Last Jedi was Russian bots?
Yeah, I got some words about that. So
it kind of makes you wonder about all these other fandoms where they pop up, social justice warrior, blah, blah, blah. Is it the same kind of thing going on?
Oh, I absolutely believe that. People, there's enough research out there that ties all of this together. But I will say, and I actually was going to save this for our Star Wars podcast, but let's go. If you go to The Last Jedi and you go to the documentary, about 8 minutes in, he is sitting, Ryan Johnson is sitting with, I believe it's the writer's pool, and he's talking to one of the guys, and he says, the weirdest thing just happened. I've just gotten a bunch of tweets from Russian accounts that are all, it seems like a coordinated targeted campaign to discourage me from killing off General Hux. So, when he said, yeah, this is consistent with my experience, you can, it's there. Like, you go 8 minutes into the documentary on the DVD or the Blu-ray, and you see it.
Wow.
And that immediately popped in my mind when I saw that article. And I actually, because I woke up, sometimes I'll read or watch something on television before I get dressed for work. And I immediately went to the documentary and tried to find the timestamp on that.
Listen, I don't care if it wasn't Russian bots. I'm going to like what I like, damn it.
Right. Absolutely. And I mean, when it comes down to, because they want to convince you that they're the real fans. No, don't believe it. We're the real fans. Mm-hmm. They're make-believe.
Yep. So, yeah. So it was one of those things where people were drowning in their tears on Twitter. And I just didn't care because my thing is this. Okay. You know what it is? I feel like the people who weren't bots were remembering Classic Who. And Honest Trailers last month and this month, or I'm sorry, in September, released, first they did a Doctor Who Modern. So they did an Honest Trailer about the modern era of Doctor Who. And then they did one about the classic era of Doctor Who. And one of the things they touched on was some of the major inappropriate themes. So, back in with the first Doctor talking about you need a smack bottom. And then there was an entire arc of episodes called The Talons of Wei Chuang. And it had a white man in yellowface talking about, I'm high on opium. And yes, it's hard for you to tell us apart because we all look alike.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like, I was watching it with my son and he was like, the fuck? He doesn't curse in front of me. He's a teenager. 14, he's my sweetie, but I know he curses.
Bubbles. You saw the thought bubbles.
I saw the thought bubbles. He looked at me like, what the what? It was bad.
Because see, I don't really do the old Doctor Who. I've got enough, stuff that I go back into the ages and I don't need to do that for Doctor Who.
Well, it's been a while since I saw those episodes, so you kind of forget something. Kind of like I said, I knew forever that Lou Diamond Phillips was not Asian. But I forgot just how many Asian... I'm sorry. I knew forever that Lou Diamond Phillips was Asian, a.k.a. Filipino. But I forgot how many non-Asian people of color, specifically Latino...
Or native
roles he had played. And it's like his entire career. So much so, I guess he was at a con recently. And he cracked the joke. He was like, I was kind of your go-to for anything brown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whew. Thank God we have come into the 21st century, even though people are trying to drag us backwards.
Yeah, I was about to say that very same thing. Yeah, Okay, we're trying to have fun. We're not really trying to talk about current events.
Anyway, back to the episode. So, look, I love that the episode was dark. Mm-hmm. And kind of like, some of Capaldi's episodes could be dark. So I feel like they tested it there and felt like they could move forward with it, but it was still like fun and witty.
And it's all because of Jodie Whittaker.
Yes.
She really pulled this off.
Look, she knocked it out the park. I am so happy and proud. Happy for her and proud of her. I'm like, yes, sister, yes. They better give you another season.
And the timing, of her, first you look at her and you say, okay, the doctor is here. And then she regresses back to, I don't really know who I am. Mm-hmm. And the amount, the timing that she needed to pull that off.
Yeah. And it's consistent with previous regenerations. They do need that rest period. And they are sometimes disoriented about who they are. But when she finally remembers, she's like, oh yeah. And by the way, this is who I am. And this is what the fuck I do. I'm like, yes, girl. Yes.
And you need to leave now while you still can.
Yes. It'll be so good. Sorry. Okay, so just so the listeners know, y'all gonna probably get this all season. Same kind of reaction.
Yeah, they couldn't have given us a better first impression. Like, now that Moffat is gone and everybody has kind of gotten that taste out of their mouth, mm-hmm. This was really the time to reestablish a doctor, and they really did that. Mm-hmm. Like, they did it.
Like, even with the inability to remember who she was, they didn't dumb her down. They didn't make her the damsel in distress, because Tennant spent most of his first real episode sleeping in bed.
Mm. Yep. Yeah, it was so good. It was so good.
Now, I will say the only drawback I had about this episode, it was what I loved, but I hated that they did it this way. But in talking to my girl Asia Rowe from Project Fandom, she explained this to me, that actress, and I forget her name right now, she does a lot of Broadway work.
Okay.
So when the actress that plays Grace, Ryan's Nan. So she saw her and she was like, I don't think she's going to be around long.
Okay.
Just because she's primarily like a theater actress. That said, Nan is why you should believe and trust Black women. Can we talk about it? Nan was like, okay, this is what we doing. All right. What we doing? Let's do it.
And she got it done.
She got it done. It claimed her life, but she got it done. I mean, I felt I'm sorry to cut you off. No.
I felt a sort of way.
Oh, so did I.
That. And I was really I was waiting to hear what your reaction to that was, because it's tropey.
It was the only drawback to this episode for me.
Yeah, it is tropey in the worst way, and I get what they were going for. It's just one of those. It's a well that people go to too often, and it leaves a salty taste in your mouth, no matter how good a show is.
Yeah, because my thing is this: Nan was not going to be left behind. That was the way they wrote the character. She was going to be all in, and had she been in the room, it wouldn't have made sense for everyone else to disappear and not her. Right. It almost makes you wish they hadn't done such a big announcement of all the companions. Like, maybe if they had held back on Graham's character, but he still could have been a companion. They could have written it in a thing where, she's taking care of some other things while they're wrapping it up and he disappears. But then you run the risk of a season of Ryan and Graham being whiny and annoying because they're trying to get home, which I get, but they're trying to get home to Grace. But then she's still sidelined.
And I get that so it seemed like Ryan and Graham have sort of a contentious relationship. Like
Graham wants to be his grandfather, but Ryan's not having any part of it. Yeah,
and then Graham doesn't when he went off on Ryan about touching the shapes, which is kind of I'm gonna be real about this. That's a very non-Black thing to do. Yeah. But anyway. So I think the idea is to give them something to bond over. Yeah. Both grieving and both being on this adventure. They
could have bonded over the adventure because they're trapped out there in terms of trying to get home to her and what she means to them. But again, because they're going to have to work through the conflict either way. And I don't think her death was enough to help them through that conflict. Yeah. I will say that the way they kind of explained it during her funeral was basically, it sounds like Nan pretty much raised him after his mom died and his dad was just AWOL. And I got the sense that his dad is Grace's son.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it could be just a thing where, if he was close to his grandfather who was gone, we don't know the dynamics. We might get that later. But we know he's not close to his father. Maybe he's just skeptical of male figures in general, which makes his willingness to be on an adventure with the Doctor make more sense because she presents as female to him.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. I didn't think about that as far as you did. I kind of picked up when Nan was probably, his paternal grandmother, and maybe it's just the fact that Graham, maybe he did have a really good bond with his grandfather. Maybe that was the only bond significant male bond he had, and then grandfather dies, and then Graham comes along, and he's not going to replace him.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see how this all kind of works out. Watching the show, I I'm still thinking that, like, why did we have to have Graham? Like, why couldn't it have been Nan?
Shoot, listen. But then, knowing how they write black women, they would have killed her at some point during the show.
Yeah.
Maybe it's best she dies trying to save people.
Yeah.
I mean, because that was the thing about that Honest trailer. They were like, yeah, some of the characters, if they're lucky, only get away. Some of the companions, if they're lucky, only get away with their lives being ruined. And then they showed a picture of Bill with a hole in her chest, and I got mad all over again.
Yeah, the one. Okay. What did you think about? Was it Yasmin?
I liked her.
Mm-hmm.
I like her. I like that they know each other from primary school, and she's like, "Yeah, we're getting our lives together, but I'm trying to be a cop." Yeah, she's ready for an adventure, and I like that. They're like, "Dude, do your job." She's like, "But there's so much more to me than this."
Right.
But not in the tropey way they've done it with other companions, where it's just like, there's so much more to me than this that I need a male to complete me. It's like, no, I can do things. Let me do things.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and you can kind of identify with. I mean, you know, there's a ladder for a reason, and you kind of have to climb up it. But I like her. I like her eagerness. I like
she's trying to do above and beyond, and they're just like, yeah, just calm down.
Yeah. And I wonder how that's going to play as the season goes through. Like,
I see her getting herself in trouble.
Yeah, but I think also her willingness to kind of jump in could be a benefit to them too.
Yeah.
So there's a lot interesting going into this season. I think they really did a good job setting this up.
They really did, especially because that was the other thing I liked about this portrayal of 13. She was just going to go. She's like, you know what? Thanks for your help. I got to get back to what I'm doing. Have a good life. And then all of a sudden, everybody's trapped in space with her. And she's like, oh, shit. This wasn't in the plan.
And they've never ended it that way.
No, they're usually back on their TARDIS retooling it. She's got to go find the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's never been an accidental. Well, it's kind of been an accidental companionship followed by an invitation, and I'm sure the invitation is coming. But usually, there's a build up to the invitation, like let me take you on an adventure, and then I'll invite you. With this, it was like I just fell into the middle of this. Helping humans is what I do. Let me help you, but then I got to get back to figuring out what's going on with my TARDIS and everything. So I do like that too, because all the other doctors have been very needy. And
yeah,
so, I mean, and there was in the teaser before, I'm sorry, I'm talking so much.
No, go ahead.
In the teaser before the season started, you hear her saying, I'm looking for friends. Will you be my friend? So I don't know if that was just a teaser that we're actually going to get, or just kind of a way to say, hey, this is the doctor But I do like this version of it where she's like, I'll pick up some people when I'm right. I'm not right now because I don't even have my ship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and it's just, like you said, the normal way that this goes is they have an introductory adventure, and then he goes through the speed. They have the whole it's inside, and then and they get introduced to the possibility of having an adventure, and they're in the TARDIS, and then for whatever reason they say no, and then they run towards the TARDIS, and then they keep on going. And
or they say I'll go one time, but then I got to go home and study or something.
Yeah, and they totally disrupted that. Mm-hmm. Like we literally don't know what's going to happen next.
It feels like we got new showrunners. It feels like a new show, and I was not worried, but my little one, he was worried. He was like, how a show gets really good and then all of a sudden falls off. So 12 is his dude. Used to be 10, and then Capaldi came along and knocked 10 out of the running for him. 12 is his dude. He's like, that was the best set of seasons, so I don't know that they can top that. And he watched with me. He's like, I'm enjoying this entire 2 hours. I will say the Zim-Shah grossed us out. Can we not be putting teeth on your face?
Yeah. Okay, so two things struck me. Number one, dude was creepy as hell.
Yes.
Number two, I had a very inappropriate joke to myself about Killmonger.
Huh?
Because when he took off the mask and the doctor asked him why he was collecting teeth, and he took off the mask and they were souvenirs. And I was thinking about how Killmonger said, I got one of these for every person I killed.
Yeah, that's pretty much what that was, though. And it's like, okay, you collecting the teeth, but I'm like, your predator wannabe ass, what are you doing?
Yep, that was the other thing I thought about. Like, this is the predator.
Yeah, going like galaxy to galaxy, planet to planet, grabbing trophies. Okay, can we just real quick, rest in peace to Grandpa. Look, I saw him. I'm like, oh, they're giving me too much exposition on Grandpa. He about to die. Yep, he dead. Poor Grandpa. he just want to talk to his grandbabies and clock out. Why they do that, man? Like that?
Oh, man.
Why they do that, man, like that? Yeah,
he caught a hard one.
Oh God.
That was I don't need very many more villains like that one. And my understanding is that they're going to branch out in new directions in terms of villains as well.
Okay.
I don't know how just something that I read in passing. I know that my understanding is the Daleks aren't going to show up, and I could be wrong about all of that, but I could have swore I read an article where they said that they were going to try to go in some new directions. But
I know, but you can go in a new direction and still give me a Dalek every now and again.
Yeah.
You are not agreeing with me at all.
That's Doctor Who, right? Now I can
do without the Cybermen. I've always thought that they were like ridiculous villains, but
Cybermen. You had to dismiss me like that.
Wait, what I do? What I do?
Uh-huh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
What did I do?
Oh, I said I like the Cybermen, and you said, uh-huh.
Oh.
You had to dismiss me like that.
Sorry. You know what it was? I only heard Cybermen. I didn't hear the I like part.
Uh-huh.
So, nice try. Ha, ha,
ha. I mean, they could give us another, the Angels.
The Weeping Angels. You know what it is about the Weeping Angels? I love their introduction. And the episode where Rory and Amy dies, where the Statue of Liberty is revealed to be a weeping angel, still creeps me out. However, I feel like they took the weeping angels and took some of the teeth out of them a bit when they made the Statue of Liberty a weeping angel. Does that make sense?
Because, like, where do you go from there?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So, if they can introduce them back in properly, cool.
Well, no, I wasn't talking about bringing them back in. I'm just saying that going in a different direction gives you something, could give you something like the Weeping Angels.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So, I mean, there's a lot. We just have to see.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do this.
I'm really excited for this. Anything else that you picked up on that struck you?
I like her new sonic screwdriver.
I like that whole scene where she built it.
Yes. Because we always just see that they have a new screwdriver. We never see them really construct it. So,
I'm gonna say it. I like Capaldi. That's my dude. I did not like the wearable.
The sonic
sunglasses. Yeah,
I go back and forth with the sunglasses.
They're
simultaneously ridiculous and convenient. They were really a convenient plot device, honestly.
Yeah. But
then again, so is the sonic screwdriver to a certain degree, if we're being honest.
Yeah, it's like a lightsaber. It's iconic.
Yeah.
I like her outfit.
Look, when they said, "Sweetie, you need some new clothes," You need to stop wearing these raggedy men's clothes that is for a man about a foot taller than you.
Right.
Okay, so the kid was not impressed. He was like, this looks too much like the old Doctor Who. I'm like, it's a homage to the old Doctor Who, but she is clearly not an old doctor. So I'm a rock with it. Look.
Yeah. I
Shannon wants the coat. Apparently Hot Topic has her coat.
Seriously? Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, if I had the money to dress up for Halloween, that's what I would be wearing.
Yeah, I mean, and she's rocking the suspenders.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah. I'm in. I'm all in.
I mean, not only showed her constructing the sonic screwdriver, but deconstructing the pod and constructing the trap and constructing the teleporter. I'm just like, they are showing us what everyone else told us was great about 10 and 11 and 12. Well, no, we saw 11 tinkering around a bit. We never saw really 9, 10, or 12 tinkering around as much. They are showing us what everyone else had to tell us. And isn't that just a man thing to do? I'm just going to tell you I'm great, and you're going to believe it, and it's going to be so. But as a woman, we have to show you that we're great, and so that is what we do, and we do it well. So
I got nothing to add to that. That's about it. That's about it.
Look, hey, if you don't like hearing the truth about this doctor, this ain't the show for you. It was nice having you for this one listen. Love you. Bye. So, what are you looking forward to this season?
Oh God, I just want them to spin a good story. You know, they started off, you know, with the exception of Grandma dying. They started off in such a good place that it gives me a lot of faith in the writers. You know, I want to see some depth. I want them to fully develop all of these characters. You know, I want to see some new adventures. I mean, I want all the things that you want from a new season of Doctor Who. Okay. I really want to know how they're going to handle race and gender.
Already, because they kind of touched on it already when she was like, wait, I'm a woman? Does it suit me? You know? Why do you keep calling me ma'am? Because you're a woman? Huh, does it suit me? I'm like,
you know, because, I mean, you can't have Doctor Who without, you know, the Doctor going back in time a few times.
Yeah. But what if you did? Because we spend a lot of time in the past, and I feel like that's white men reliving what they feel are their glory days to a certain extent. What if we spent more time in the future?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You know, in the ability to like envision a future where a woman doctor, you know, won't get the reaction that it's currently getting on Twitter. And I think you're right.
Just saying.
And then particularly with the race issue in the way that they've yada-yada'd it in the past. And, you know, I'm thinking about the William Shakespeare episodes.
Yeah. They tried to quote unquote touch upon it with Martha's like, I don't need to be here.
Right.
I don't need to be here. I don't need to be here. Why do you keep taking me to these places I don't need to be?
And, you know, they completely yada-yada'd it. And so I understand. I think it's a good point. Why do we have to go in the past? You know, why don't we just focus on the future and you know, in space and time going out from where we've been? I get that. But a part of me, again, wants to know how they would handle race and gender.
Poorly. No offense. Bless his heart, but Chibnall's still a white man, and there it is.
There it is.
Although, no, they didn't really address race on Torchwood either. They addressed sexual orientation, but not race. So, you know, probably poorly. Bless your heart, Chris. But yeah.
Isn't the writing room pretty? I remember, didn't they release some pictures of the writing room? Isn't the writing room fairly diverse?
I hadn't seen pictures of their writing room. And at the same time, you can have some diverse faces, but if they don't actually have a voice, it doesn't matter.
You're right there, too.
Yeah, there's that. Anywho, Any closing thoughts before we wrap it up?
Nah, I'm ready to go.
All right, so am I.
I'm sorry.
So what we'll be doing is bringing this to you in 3-episode arcs, all the way until we get to the Christmas episode. So we'll probably be back once a month with this, because there's only 10. Oh, it's a shorter season order. It's only 10 episodes. So we'll probably do 2 through 5, 6 through 9, and then the Christmas episode will probably be its own thing, or the finale and the Christmas episode will be its own thing. And this will again be on the free feed. I don't believe it's going up on Super Tuesdays, but I believe it's on the MTR Network feed, the general feed, so you can find us there. You can find us on Twitter. I am at the Dr. Zen, THEDRISIN 2015, at the MTR Network is our show handle. Paris, you want to give them your Twitter information, or you rather just find you and...
I'm at PFunk1130.
Okay. So we will be back in a few weeks for episodes 2 through 5. Say goodbye.
And you'll also see us and hear us in plenty of other shows, because the fall season is kicking off, and we're going to be losing a lot of sleep.
I'm not shit. I'm asleep. I'm too old to not sleep. Y'all tripping. Talk to you guys soon.